We have been contacted by the Aussie businessman Dick Smith, and he's fired up and wants to set the record straight. You see, the ABC has accused Dick of telling lies about renewable energy during an interview on this program last week. Dick told us Australia should be making the decision to go nuclear now. And he also said no country has ever been able to run entirely on renewables. Now, the ABC claims to have fact-checked that last statement. They say it doesn't add up. And they say there are a number of countries which run on 100% renewable energy. According to the public broadcaster, in 2021, 4 countries were running entirely on wind, water and solar. They were Albania, Bhutan, Nepal and Paraguay. But what the ABC left out is that most people in these areas have no power at all. They also claim that Tasmania run their systems on 100% renewables. But back in 2016, while the state was in drought, they were forced to bring in huge emergency diesel generators to keep the lights on. Dick Smith is on the line. Dick, good morning to you.
Hi there, Benny. I'm angry. The whole document is full of misinformation and lies. It's designed to discredit me. Absolutely disgusting. They say on the document, they say this is your inoculation against misinformation. And their document is just complete misinformation because the left at the ABC have to be against nuclear. So they just make up every lie they can to distort anyone who says we have to move to nuclear.
Okay, so you said no country's ever been able to run entirely on renewables. They say, what about Albania, Bhutan, Nepal and Paraguay?
It's just completely ridiculous. They have motor vehicles and transport in those countries all running on fossil fuels. Nepal, I've been to Nepal, all the lodges have diesel generators, and most of the people in Nepal burn wood, which has probably got the most carbon output you could ever imagine. So it's completely ridiculous. Let me read this to you. They say here, Mark Diesendorf, an expert of sustainable energy and energy policy from the University of New South Wales, labels Mr. Smith's assertion as incorrect. And then he says several countries and Tasmania already run their electricity system on 100% renewable. Now, this is where the con. What you read out was that I said run the country entirely on renewables. What the ABC has done is distort that just to look at electricity, which is only 25% of our problem. Our government and our scientists say we have to go to zero carbon. That's all energy, not just electricity. Probably the most dishonest thing they've done, because they're opposed to me talking about nuclear energy, is say that California at certain times of the day now runs 100% on renewables. What they don't tell you anywhere in the document is that California has nuclear power and it's connected to the nuclear grid of Arizona and Washington state. And that's the reason it can sometimes have renewable. It has the base load of nuclear, which is the part that I'm trying to bring out that they so dishonestly distort.
Why do you think they've gone out of their way to fact-check you and you've now got to fact-check them?
Well, they can't help themselves. It's interesting. I have a friend at the ABC who supports nuclear, and he said, Dick, you can't say that here. You wouldn't have a career.
Really?
Now, yeah, you wouldn't have a career. Look, the left has gone crazy on this. The people who should be supporting nuclear because it's zero carbon, and just remember, France is 70% nuclear, has been for over 50 years. It has some of the cheapest power in Europe. And it supplies nuclear power to Germany because they turned off their nuclear power stations and run on wind, which is intermittent. But at the ABC, there's this sort of code that says not only must you never give any publicity to the advantages of nuclear, but you must write lies against it, and that's what they do.
What's your message to the new chair of the ABC, Kim Williams?
Well, message to Kim is to get this changed because, look, there's a young chap called Will Shackle. He's 17 years old and he runs a group called Nuclear for Australia. And he's desperately worried because when he's older, he's going to be, you and I'll be dead, but he's going to withstand the terrible climate change we're being told is going to happen. So he knows that we have to move to nuclear. But the people who are not going to be affected are against it and just run misinformation campaigns of lies. And that's just ridiculous. By the way, let me mention, and you mentioned with Tasmania, they say 100% renewable because they have hydro. But as you said, when they had the drought, and this was with the small population before, we've doubled our population, which we're doing, where you're going to need far more water to generate energy. Tasmania ran out of power and they have all these fossil fuel generators sitting there waiting to be turned on. The other thing is, you used to go to Tasmania for the beautiful wilderness. Well, now they're going to put these wind factories right through the Tarkine wilderness to try and match up with the lack of water. Now, that will be just terrible. They're going to destroy their land and people won't go there.
I think they should be inviting you on the ABC today, Dick, but we appreciate you coming on 2GB instead.
Thanks for correcting the lies.
Good on you, Dick Smith, the Aussie businessman.